Canceled.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a special presentation of Anime Club After Dark. I'm your host, Sho, and joining me tonight, we have Alex Senpai.
Just like ACAD, I too am fucked.
How you both start with A.
That's true.
And you have like a tsk in your name. So
okay.
amazing.
Mine's more like a x than a sk.
It's all the same when you're dyslexic, which I'm not.
Wow.
Yes. So
Canceled.
Today we're going to be talking about the 17th episode of Vinland Saga.
It's almost legal. Vinland Saga is almost legal, guys.
Oh God. Why are we so problematic? Okay. Just ignore everything we say. Okay. No. Okay. In this episode, ACAD is finally confronting the mutiny that we knew was going to happen like 10 episodes ago.
Coup d'etat.
Yes. So it finally happens. And then Thorkel also joins in the fun and is like, I want to play too. Don't play without me.
Which I find incredibly funny because he calls Thorfinn his playmate.
Does he?
He actually uses the word playmate.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a thing.
See, you want the ship to be Thorfinn and Canute, but really it's Thorkel and Thorfinn.
That's his uncle.
I mean,
And I don't want anything. The show wants Thorfinn and Canute to be together, not me.
Yeah, you keep dreaming.
So I thought we'd start off by talking about the scene that happens right after the OP, which is a flashback to ACAD's childhood, where he is feeding his mom in a barn. And one interesting part of that flashback was that the soup he was feeding her is like infested with flies and rats, which is so nasty. I guess that's supposed to be like how she's being mistreated by living in this shitty rundown place, but I'm just like, that is, I mean, it's not bad. I did want a little more information about, her ACAD's relationship with his mom, and this flashback was nice, but it's kind of short, and like trying to sum up the mistreatment with like nasty food as like a way for me to pity her. I mean, it's kind of cheap. It was nasty. I didn't like it, and like I definitely pity her, but it's like kind of a cheap trick, You could do better. Expect more.
Yeah, I mean, it's effective in showing that she's probably not treated the best. So, I mean, it does its job. But yeah, there could have been better ways to do this. And I do kind of agree. Like, I'd like to see more of why ACAD feels this way about his mother. I mean, obviously it's his mother, so he probably has strong feelings about her either way. But I'm of the same opinion that you are. Like, I'd really like to see more of this and how this relationship came to be so important to him. Obviously more important than his relationship with his father was.
Yeah.
Because his father is Danish, so and he ingratiates himself to the Danish culture, the Viking culture, and it's like, even though he doesn't like it, at least he says he doesn't like it, he clearly identifies way more strongly with his mother and her ethnicity, being Welsh. So I would like to see more of this and how he just got so strongly invested in this.
Yes. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything because, I mean, the whole Thorfinn thing happened before we figured out that the father died. But this, emotional exposition is happening after we know that the mother died. So I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I definitely want more to feel more emotionally connected to
And
this
there's nothing to say
relationship.
that we might not get more down the road. I mean, it's possible.
Maybe. I feel like Askeladd's gonna die before then.
You really think he's gonna die very, very soon, don't you?
Well, all of the foreshadowing is there. You know, he disintegrates into snow. We know what that means. Another interesting part.
So does Canute.
Does he?
In the OP.
I thought it was Ragnar and what's his face?
I'm pretty sure
Askeladd.
the other one is supposed to be Canute. I could be
Maybe.
wrong.
Well,
Maybe I
it
need to
is.
go back and rewatch the OP.
Yeah,
I haven't been skipping it, so you think I would know by now. It's a really good OP.
It is really good, yes. But yeah, another interesting part of that flashback was that the mom told Askeladd to serve King Artorius, which kind of like ties into basically what she's saying is like stand up for your Welsh background. So that kind of explains why Askeladd is so passionate about representing and fighting for the Welsh. But again, it's very like short, very brief, very shortcut. It's a little cheap. It's a little like it's very like blunt to the point. Like it feels like a synopsis. The scene could be whatever. The essence of the scene could be an entire episode, but
I was thinking that myself. I'm like, this could be a really great setup for,
a larger mini story.
Well, maybe, but also setting up Askeladd to be like this really tragic character.
Yes, you could have done that, but we don't see enough of the tragedy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this scene is like compressing all of the notions, all of like the motivations of Askeladd into a very simple exchange. And the last thing that I found interesting about the scene was that the mom mentioned that right now the king is recovering in this mythical sort of place called Avalon. And Avalon is located to the west, which kind of ties in...
It's Vinland.
Yes, it ties in the whole Vinland theme of this show, which I like. I actually did like that because honestly, tying in the Vinland theme, I don't need a full like explanation. You can just like drizzle that in. Like you don't need to give me a full like extended explanation. I'm perfectly fine with that small reference. I was happy about that. It was very interesting, very cute. I don't know if I don't think Avalon in actual mythology has anything to do with Vinland or the West, but I'm perfectly fine with how they did
Not really.
that.
I mean, the story that she's relating is the myth of King Arthur, and King Arthur was said to have gone to Avalon to seek the Holy Grail, and that he would come back when he found it and unite the entire kingdom, all the kingdoms of Europe under a single banner. And it's kind of like, if you read a lot of the Arthurian legends, they almost set King Arthur up to be like a Jesus character, where he goes away and he's like, I'll come back when you're ready.
Lovely. I guess they're not ready because he's not back. So moving back to the present, I just love how Askeladd is like, I want to tell you something that I've been holding back for so long. I hate you. I hate your stupid pig blood and your nasty Danish ways. And now I'm going to cut your head off. Your head and your head and your head too. You're all getting decapitated. I'm like, damn, bitch, slay, literally slay.
I like how they're portraying this as well. He realizes he's up against an enormous wall. Might as well lay it all out now while I still can.
Yeah, that was just so badass. Loved it. Very edgy. I am a total edgelord. Speaking of edgy, Thorfinn just whips out like 20 knives and starts like flinging them like a ninja.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of historical anachronism going on right here, but you know what?
God.
It works. I'm not going to say anything bad about it because it works.
It was pretty cool, but at the same time, where did he get all those knives?
I don't know.
I'm like, that is not consistent.
Hiding them up his ass, apparently.
Oh, Oh, maybe Canute made a donation.
Oh my god.
Um, but that's not consistent to how he's been fighting this entire time. He's been doing two-handed, and I'm like, why would you be carrying all these knives? That makes no sense.
It's a very Asian thing. Specifically, it's a very Japanese thing. The idea of throwing knives, throwing stars, things like that. I mean, I'm sure that there were throwing knives in medieval Europe, but it wasn't a common thing. And it just, the way he's wielding them is very, like you said, very ninja-like, or at least very stereotypically ninja-like. And I'm pretty sure that's not how it was done by actual Vikings in the past.
No, but like, even using daggers in itself is very not Viking-like. But even
it served them in the moment.
I'm fine with him using daggers. I'm just like, I don't know where you got all these daggers from. It's not consistent. I liked it, but I just wanted to call you out for being a messy bitch.
I will say, for probably historically anachronistic as it may be, the scene itself was animated very well.
Yes, I did love the scene. And
also, the music that plays throughout that entire sequence is really good.
After this whole scuffle, Askeladd is like, okay, Bjorn and Thorfinn, skedaddle with the prince. I'm gonna deal with all these bitches. So they run off, and then while they're running off with the horses, there's this crazy music playing, really hype music. And honestly, I felt like the music, I liked the music, but it was drowned out by the sound effects. So I would have appreciated,
and the dialogue.
Yeah, I would have appreciated if they made the music a little more overpowering, because it was a good track, and I would have appreciated actually hearing it properly. So they should have maybe upped that. I just love listening to music on Max.
Well,
Max
the best part about that music is like you said, it's very hype, but it also has this nice bassy build up to it. It's like, some shit's about to go down, man.
Oh, hells yeah. So there's a whole thing with Bjorn and Thorfinn on the side. They start fighting the detached force that go after them. I find it interesting that when push comes to shove, Thorfinn abandons Canute and then takes the horse, makes a 180, and goes right back to Askeladd.
Also, wait, you skipped over another great scene that was probably completely historically anachronistic, but fucking they killed the people that are following Thorfinn and Canute and Bjorn in the sled. They, instead of actually trying to attack the people on the sled, they attack the horses, kill them. One of them just throws a knife at the horse's fucking head, and they rear back, and everything in the sled goes flying off. And Thorfinn, in midair, mind you, is able to kick someone in the face and steal his horse. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want.
It's a literal ninja. A lot of his movements are very ninja-like, which is pretty cool. I'm I don't even have any complaints about that. It's just pretty cool.
I mean, again, it was very well animated. It's very hard for me to have any kind of complaints about this scene. It probably wouldn't have happened this way with an actual Viking.
Maybe not. I'm not gonna think too deeply about it. So
I also, one last thing. I also like how Bjorn, who's been buried by the sled that's kind of fallen on top of him, lifts it up, and he's got the mushroom that, because he's done it before, the psychedelic mushroom lets him go all beast mode. He starts eating it, and it's like, you haven't even seen my final form, bitch.
Oh man, not the smartest idea, considering Canute is literally right there. So I'm like, aren't you just gonna kill everyone? Aren't you gonna kill Canute too? I'm like, you didn't really think this through, did you?
Nope.
No. Bjorn is a special snowflake that he gets his own little off-screen fight sequence. But,
or at least off-screen so far.
Yeah. But like I was saying, Thorfinn returning to Askeladd. Honestly, I didn't see that coming. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then I'm like, oh, I understand. Thorfinn is so dedicated to that revenge. Like, literally,
Yep.
very...
He's like, bitch, no, I ain't letting Thor go get this kill. This kill mine.
That's very in character of him. I really appreciated that writing because, like, I was confused as a viewer. Like, all these things were happening. But then Thorfinn makes the decision that makes sense for his character in the middle of all this chaos, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so true. I appreciate that you as a writer remember who your characters are, because I as a viewer do not. Honey, all I know is that you're a ninja and that you and Canute have like a little like stabby relationship. That's all I know about you, and I know there's more to your character, so I'm glad that someone else remembers that. So we skip back to Askeladd, and 50 of his men are coming at him at once, and he is just like kung fuing the shit out of them. It's like, I'm gonna punch you, I'm gonna kick you, I'm gonna suplex you. Just like, damn, bitch, you ain't holding back.
Yeah, I do like the fact that in this, you obviously see that he's not perfect because he's been hit a couple of times. He's got some cuts and some bruises and scrapes all over his body. So you clearly know that at least once or twice he's actually been hit. So he's showing himself to be fallible. He's not this like, untouchable Superman.
Mm-hmm. I did really appreciate the fight choreography because it was pretty cool seeing him like maneuver between all the different people trying to attack him.
Also, I'm really curious. So in the last 2 episodes, he's mentioned, I think twice now, that he's getting old. And I don't, let me know if I'm wrong about this. I don't remember anyone or himself ever saying how old he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I feel like...
I'm curious, how old do you think he is?
Like 30...
I'm thinking he's in his 40s.
Maybe. You could be right. I don't think, like, people live that old, to be that old in 1000
I don't know.
AD.
I get the feeling that he's in his, like, mid-40s. Because back then that would have been old.
I feel like mid-30s would be old back then. I feel like you die... I feel like you die at mid-30s.
I'm just... He said it a couple of times now, and I don't recall anyone ever saying how old he's supposed to be. I mean, obviously, Thorfinn's supposed to be a teenager, but I'm really curious as to how old he's supposed to be. Anyway,
yeah.
That's just a thought I had while I was watching this episode.
I'm just thinking, like, we've seen him as a child, but we don't actually have a timeline between him as a child and him now, so we can't really...
No, because we don't know how old he was when he fought Thor's.
Okay. I mean, he looks the same between those two scenes.
Yes, I'm just saying he doesn't look like he's aged a whole lot, but I mean, at least 10 plus years have passed
because
between
Thorfinn
them.
has also aged. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
So I'm just curious, that's why I think he's got to be in his mid-40s, at least.
Maybe. Honestly, I think I don't think he is actually being serious when he's saying, I'm getting old. I think he's just using that as an excuse. Because he says that, but, like, we don't see it physically manifest in, like, his physical capabilities. So, yeah. I feel like
although
he
does end up, I mean, I don't think that they're not necessarily killed, but he definitely defeats, like, 50 of his own men by himself. And you can see that he's, like, very winded and, like, starting to get really tired.
Well, I mean, I don't think he could do that in the prime of his youth either.
Oh, true. I mean, one person taking on an entire army would be, devastating for anybody at any age. But I'm just saying that they're going to great lengths to show that number one, that he thinks he's getting old, and that he may actually be getting old because he gets winded way more easy than he used to.
I personally don't think so, but you can make that argument. What was I thinking? like unlike Thor's and Thorkel, who can just use their physique to just demolish 50 men, Askeladd is more about the finesse and more about the
strategy,
swordsmanship. That's his strong point in trying to get and also the intimidation. Those are his arsenal that he uses to defeat his enemies. So he can't just like blunt force through people. So to me, it makes sense that he would get tired if he's faced in a situation like he is.
Yeah.
It's also very interesting that midway through the fight, someone hits him in his chest armor, and then it kind of pisses him off. So then he just like slices the guy in half through his helmet, which is clearly not possible.
True, but again, it looks fucking awesome.
That slicing someone in half as Askeladd, okay, maybe as Thorkel I can believe that, but as Askeladd,
or maybe even Thor's.
Yeah, as Askeladd, I find the scale of being unbelievable more relevant than the scale of being badass. So for me, that was just like too much. But it was a mistake because by showing his true strength, apparently, he caused all of his men to get scared and back off and be like, you know what? We aren't going to all rush you at once. We're just going to pick you off with archers. So Askeladd kind of fucked up for the last time because he'd been fucking up for a long time for the last like 5 or 7 episodes. But I found that interesting. That's a very, very minutely tactical that because he was too brutal with his fighting style, he lost the fight because he wanted to trick his men into thinking, oh, it might be possible for you to kill me in a melee brawl, and then trick them into all coming at him, and then he might have been able to kill them all. But that didn't happen because he went too hard. So that was I found that very, very, I liked it. I like that kind of mind game, even though he lost the game in that case. Yeah. And then after that, when he's got archers trained on him, Askeladd tries to bargain for his life, which is very Askeladd-like because, you know, he's all about being a sly dog and trying to outwit his opponents. So he's like, you need me to get Canute, or else Bjorn will just kill Canute. Which is a long shot, honestly. Honestly, if I was Torgrim, I would be like, I don't believe you, I'm gonna just kill you right now. But Torgrim is as smart as a fucking lump of snow. So he's like, maybe I do need to save Askeladd. So Askeladd's like, in his mind, he's like, yes, you idiots! So Torgrim actually believed that, which, I mean, I did enjoy because, you know, Askeladd's being Askeladd, using his wits as his strong point to outmaneuver his enemies. But what he didn't expect was that Torgrim is like, okay, I'll save you. I won't kill you, but I'm going to cripple you by shooting your legs. Which was, like, honestly, in, like, every single horror movie or any single, like, action movie, when a character loses the functionality of their legs, you know they're dead.
It's over.
It's literally over. It's like, oh, I lost my leg, but I'm still alive. I'm like, no, bitch. You cannot escape the situation with your leg like that. You're going to die. It's like, I already know. Like, don't even tease me. So as soon as I saw Askeladd get shot in the legs, I'm like, that's the same as getting shot in the heart, because there's 0% chance that you can get out of it once you've lost the functionality of your legs. Which, honestly, he's basically dead at this point. So, R.I.P. was nice knowing you.
I mean, I'm not sure if he's gonna die outright from this, but it certainly increases his chances of dying.
Yeah, he did. And then immediately after getting shot in the legs, Thorgrim commented that Askeladd has never been this desperate, which I thought was a very interesting line because to me as a viewer, I interpret that as Askeladd is taking these desperate risks because he's not just thinking about, oh, can I get money from this? Can I get, like, prestige from this? No, this is a personal thing. He needs Canute to, fulfill his lifelong dream. And there's, losing that bounty of being Canute's mentor is not an option. So that's why he's so desperate, because now it's personal. It's not just some random expedition, some random pillaging. He actually needs this. That's his reason for being. So I found that line very telling of Askeladd. And then Askeladd's response was really weird. He says he couldn't wait for the true king to return from Avalon, which honestly, you could just say that's gibberish and be like, he's just being Welsh, you know how those Welsh are. They just say Welsh things. But also, are you trying to say that Canute is gonna be like a equivalent of Artorias? And if so, what exactly do you want from Canute? Because honestly, Askeladd has been kind of expecting a lot from Canute. So maybe Askeladd does think of Canute as an equivalent to Artorias, which I would be interested in delving deeper into that because I have no idea what Askeladd would expect from Canute in that case.
I think that you're right when you say that it's kind of an odd thing for him to say, because it does certainly imply that he expects a great deal from Canute. I also think this goes, and so this episode is titled Servant, which is very odd considering, or not odd, but very apropos, considering a lot of the themes that have been explored in the last few episodes. How Askeladd seems to be, he's asked in the flashback to serve King Artorias. You have Thorfinn, who is serving at the whim of a exaction of revenge against Askeladd. You have Thorkel, who seems to serve the Danish gods and wants to get into Valhalla. And then you have Canute, who is serving reluctantly as his role as the prince.
I guess.
I don't know. It kind of goes into all that. So maybe Askeladd is expecting an enormous amount from Canute, even though Canute is very reluctant to take on the role he's being asked to take on.
Maybe. That might be a bit of a stretch, but that might be what the title was intending. To me, a servant isn't someone who serves. It's someone who is because serving indicates voluntariness. Wait, I don't know the noun for that.
Not necessarily.
Well, to serve someone is, to me, that's a voluntary action. To serve someone. Anyways, that's just grammatical. But I get what you're saying. To me, it's a little awkward. But
you see how it could make sense.
It could. I don't believe it, but it could.
Bullshit, but I believe it.
So after all this scuffle between Askeladd and his men, Thorkel finally reaches the bottom of the valley, and then, oh my god, there's the sequence of events where Thorkel has all these different crazy expressions, which I did appreciate. They were very...
very well drawn.
Very highly detailed, yes. I particularly enjoyed Thorkel's expression when Thorgrim offers to negotiate, and then Thorkel is just like,
It's like this
you
deadpan expression.
Yeah,
like,
he's just like, bitch, you wanna what? What did you just say to me? Excuse you? I did enjoy that. Because it was very sassy. And he's like, give me a reason not to fucking decapitate your head 10 miles into the snow. And then Torgrim's like, I don't know, maybe we could, like, have a kiki. We can have some tea. And then Thorkel's like, I don't think so. Love it. You know, an expression says 1,000 words. That's the saying. That's not the saying, but it is now.
I also like how Thorkel's like, all right, I'm going to kill all of you guys, except for Askeladd, of course. And then he's like, pick up your weapons so I can actually have an excuse to kill you, because he doesn't want to kill them when they're unarmed.
Yeah. I mean, just like the previous episode, we know that Thorkel doesn't like betrayers, which I think is the smart move as a war leader. But I mean, this doesn't come as surprising. Very in character of Thorkel. Askeladd's men get what they deserved for being two-timing snitches. It's funny that like Askeladd is the only one who stays alive, and then freaking all his men get like punished for being selfish cunts.
Yeah. Also, can we just talk about Thorfinn's entrance here?
Yes. Oh
because
my God.
Thorfinn comes riding in on the horse that he's already kicked someone in the face in midair to steal. And he comes riding in, kicking people left and right as he's trying to get through the crowd of people to go to Thorkel. Because I think he's of the impression that Thorkel is just going to kill everyone. And of course, Askeladd is standing, or well, kind of hunched over next to Thorkel. And he rides up to Thorkel on his horse, and Thorkel, without even missing a beat, just punches the horse right in the fucking gullet. I'm like, holy fuck, man.
That was pretty awesome. Loved it.
Obviously, so the joke about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is if you ever see a dog show up, it's not going to end well for the dog. Apparently, we got to have a joke for Vinland Saga. If you see a horse show up, it's not going to end well for the horse, because we've had two straight episodes now where horses have been killed very brutally.
It's very in character for Studio Wit, because they are very cruel to horses in Attack on Titan. And that is an ongoing joke with the series, where they always mutilate the horses.
And the Japanese
horses
just have no respect for animal rights.
Oh, okay. You can stand by that opinion. So
it's a joke.
The backpedal harder. Okay, we end the episode on Thorkel agreeing to a duel with Thorfinn.
I really hope this is what has been teased in the OP.
Yes, clearly. And I am very excited to see it. Like, this is the climax I have been waiting for.
You say the climax, but I'm kind of concerned because we know that this is going to be 24 episodes this season, or this part of the adaptation of Vinland Saga is going to be 24 episodes. This is episode 17, so we still have a number of episodes to go. I'm wondering if, obviously I'm assuming this fight is going to last at least one, maybe two episodes at the most. I'd be shocked if this fight lasted the rest of the season. I'm wondering, because this is shaping up to be a very climactic fight, as you say, and it's kind of been building to this. I'm just hoping that when this fight is finished and there's still 4 or 5 episodes to go, it's not really boring the rest of the way in comparison.
I don't know what's going to happen. All I care about is wanting to see this fight.
I know, it's like,
who knows what's going to happen after that.
I'm pretty sure this is what's been teased in the OP, and if it's half as good as it looks in the OP, it's going to be a good fight.
Hells yeah. Next week can't come any faster.
And you say that, but we actually just found out a few days ago that episode 18 has been delayed a week, so we have to wait 2 weeks.
No, how could you do
Of course, by the time this comes out, it won't make a difference, so.
It makes a difference to me. I live in the present. People listening to this live in the future. So I still have to wait 2 weeks. Oh, well. Thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoyed it because we sure enjoyed bringing it to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. If you want to keep up with what we're doing, you can join us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. Shoot us an email if you have any questions or if you have ideas for topics you'd like us to talk about in the future. Links to all these things are down below in the description. I have been your host, Sho, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, Alex.
You want to go practice punching horses with me this weekend?
If by punching horses, you mean... You know what? I have no idea where.
I was gonna say, be careful where you go with
this. New kink, yes.